Hi, I'm Celeste Trianon from Montreal, Jajaki. Tomorrow is Trans Day of Remembrance. It is an annual commemoration that's now been marked for 26 years in memory of trans people, primarily trans women, and in particular Black trans women who have been murdered, the ultimate form of gender-based violence. Yesterday, out west, the Alberta government introduced Bill 9. This bill purports to protect trans kids. It purports that we are doing this to protect children, to prevent them from getting murdered, hopefully at least. But guess how? By removing their right to life, literally. Trans kids these days are simply unable to be themselves. Their existence has been politicized to death and beyond. I've heard too many stories of trans kids and teens attempting to take their own lives, or even taking their own lives. Friends, teenagers, and young adults having to attend funerals for kids, teens, and young adults the same age as them. Before even they had a chance to live their lives. All this because of the cruelty of governments here and elsewhere. We're talking about families having to unroot themselves from communities, moving between borders, even between nations, because they have no other choice, because that is the only way they can either raise their family or be themselves as need be. It's not just a trans-specific issue either. A recent survey by Gris Montréal, merely concerning some other parts of the rainbow, so the LGB in the acronym, has shown a doubling in the last 2 years of intolerance towards gay, lesbian, and bisexual teens in high schools in Quebec. Misogyny is equally becoming normalized. It's not just fascist pedophiles calling women journalists slurs on live TV. These are the same people who are in power in so many countries. They're the people who are reshaping policy, reshaping the road effectively, and creating refugees out of my neighbors and our neighbors. Same teens who are refusing to listen to their teachers because they're women. They are the same teens who are breaching full-blown expulsion orders for the sake of attacking their trans classmates. You see, the attacks on gender-diverse youth cannot be understood in isolation. They instead form an integral part of modern-day misogyny and gender-based violence. There's this expression which you oftentimes hear in trans circles. What a man does to trans woman in public is what he'll do to cisgender, so non-trans, women in private. And this cannot be true, cannot be more true. The same politicians pushing to destroy bodily autonomy, to force women to give birth, to prevent them from getting birth control, they are the same ones attempting to kill access to trans healthcare. Look no further than Alberta or the US yet again. I'd also like to bring to your attention to the notwithstanding clause, this infamous clause of the Canadian Constitution which has been used repeatedly now to attack the civil rights of fellow Canadians like ourselves. Over its 43-year history, it has been primarily used for gender-based violence, and in the last few years has actually been used exclusively for gender-based violence. From attempting to shield governments from claims owned, I'll start with Alberta, let's say it this way, from attempting to shield itself from claims owned to its Eugenics Act, which primarily targeted Indigenous women, to attacking teachers, 75% of whom are women, to redefining marriage to exclude queer couples, to now attacking trans youth, denying them the healthcare they need in order to survive. All of this constitutes different forms of gender-based violence enacted by a total disregard for human life and for human dignity. And you can say the same about Ontario's strike-breaking bill a few years ago, or Quebec's anti-hijab laws, or Saskatchewan's anti-trans bill. In fact, this is the manifestation of gender-based violence nowadays in our legislatures. Governments here, they won't mention, we are going to be violent towards women, we're going to be violent towards trans people. They will say, this bill applies notwithstanding sections 2 and 7215 of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So what do we do about this? Gotta fight back, somehow. This isn't just a matter of defending women's rights, trans rights, or another limited subset of human rights. It is a matter of defending the very principles underlying the society we wish to build, and gender-based violence simply cannot form a part thereof. To what serves justice if it is only limited to those in power, or those who can afford paying up? To what does it serve when a student expelled for transphobia can quickly fundraise over $50,000, whilst its victims cannot recover a cent without spending the same amount in lawyers' fees alone? Our power doesn't lie in the systems of oppression that will continue to enable the conditions under which such oppressive legislation can be enacted. Our power lies in ourselves as citizens and as Canadians. We, as ordinary people, have a common duty to act, and that is the duty to stand up for friends, for colleagues, for neighbors, for whom, the very people for whom gender-based violence most commonly is enacted by the state. Injustice surrounds us all, yet it doesn't have to be this way. Want to know what the greatest enemy of injustice is? It's initiative. It's the action of doing something. And that, I believe, is our greatest gift as human beings. It is our ability to think critically and to respond to injustices in powerful ways, which, honestly, we should be taking that as a gift. The time to bury our head in the sand is over. I hope we all, today and tomorrow, and for all the days to come that we still are on this planet, can stand up for not just the most prominent survivors of gender-based violence, the ones you hear about in the news, but to all people affected by gender-based violence, whether that be immigrant women, Muslim women, trans women, and so many other women and people. We all stand to win from protesting the unjust and defending those who continue being scapegoated. Thank you.